is Untitled and
Undocumented
with Zen and Pablo.
What's
I should
up?
have let you say your name.
That's
But regardless,
it's fine.
I was trying to figure out the perfect way of like
No,
us blurring it. Like,
yeah.
do we like rehearse it? Because we should have showed up at least, by my standards, at least 30 minutes early, specifically to practice the intro.
No. Also, before we even get into it, I just want to give a quick shout out to my beautiful fiance who has finished nursing school. She so right now what they're doing like a bar crawl to celebrate.
Yeah.
But she like took her last test. She's like officially done. Doesn't graduate until this weekend. But she's like done with
Done with everything.
Yeah, done
So
with
it's like-
everything. So yeah, it's like victory lap right now.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Because especially in that, like just all the tiredness. Like,
Yeah, no, dude, it's crazy. And like, so when we became friends, like she was she wasn't in nursing school yet. She was like, because the way it works is you do your basics first, and then you apply to nursing school to maybe actually do what you like went to college for.
yeah.
So it's like super competitive. They only take a certain number of people. So when we first met, that's what she was doing. So like I've seen her struggle and like fight through like this whole thing to like realize her dream of like helping people and being in the medical field. So it's like sick. I'm very, very proud of her. That being said though, it's been making me really upset on her behalf. Maybe for like seeing like bull crap on the internet with people like saying,
just them chastising like healthcare workers.
yeah, bro. Like I'm like, you have no idea. Like these people like put everything into this. Like you just read a Facebook article and now you think you're a healthcare expert. Like, all right, sick.
So like,
Or like same thing with like dudes gotta be, or like no dudes that got like a C and D and like economics and government all of a sudden out of the woodworks are like political scientists.
like they were like historians all of a sudden. Have you realized that? Like all of a sudden they know every law that ever happened, and they are wishing for this great America that they read in some sort of history book or something.
Mhm.
I think it's like this weird mob group mentality. Like, I don't know if it's individuals thinking.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's weird. And like I even think about like, let's say like anti-vaxxer. If you're anti-vaxxer, sorry, but I think you're stupid.
I mean, let's keep it 100.
I mean, yeah, like cool. If you want your kids to have polio, like that's fine.
Yeah, like I don't get. I mean, I don't know. I kind of understand. I'm not saying I understand.
No, like, I get it, because like we're only afraid of what we don't know.
Exactly.
And like my future brother-in-law, he posted this video on his Instagram story. Really great video. A lot of great information about the upcoming COVID vaccine. And like to be honest with you, I was watching it and a lot of stuff was going over my head, because like I don't know a lot about the healthcare industry. But at the same time, like these are doctors who took the time to study, to get these degrees, to like continue. Like we were talking about it last night, where healthcare is a field where you never stop learning.
Yeah. Like
it's constantly updating. These people are constantly having to do everything they can to like either update their licenses or like, have the newest knowledge on the newest thing. So it's like to try to come in and just be like, I read this wild article, now I think I'm an expert. It's like, come on, bro. Like,
yeah, and the thing that I think is the issue, though, is that the reason people say things like that, the reason that those things even go around is because there's a lack of trust. Mm-hmm. Like, you only fear what you don't know because you don't trust the government. You don't trust what they're doing. So you have to look at everything and be like, I need to peek behind the curtain of what's going on in my life. I think that's a big part of what America is. Yeah. And when it's things that they don't understand, they just have to make shit up. Because, I mean, they don't understand it. Yeah. So they're like, instead of really, really learning, because if they cared enough, then they would actually try to learn to see what's inside the vaccine. But because they don't, and they don't know what's going to happen, they're just going to
say some wild
shit and be like, yeah, I'm not. And then, I hate that they're always relating it to iPhones, which I get it in the sense of production. I mean,
yeah, I mean,
this is on a fast track, which is the thing that is a little scary about it. But it's like drastic calls for drastic measures. You
exactly,
know what I mean?
And like think about why it's like being fast tracked, you know? And also the fact that we have the technology to even do a fast track. Like, I think about the time of like the Black Plague. If they could have came up with a vaccine and fast track it, I'm sure they would have. And a lot of people didn't have to die. But, you know, like we have this option. Hopefully, you know, things turn out well. Hopefully people take it. I'm not here advocating saying you should take it or not. It's up to you at the end of the day.
And that's the problem though, is that in all honesty, it'll only be truly effective to the speed that we need it to be if everyone takes it.
Right.
Like the ideal thing is everyone takes it, and then the virus is having a harder time spreading to these people because there's so many people with the vaccine that it'll then die out. But if you have people who are taking it and people who aren't, and those people are still easily susceptible, then they're still going to be carriers, and then they're still going to pass it on, and the percentages will still be higher. And it's just, you know, it's not 100% that you take this and all of a sudden you're never going to get COVID. I mean, that's just not really how, you know, probability and stuff works. Everyone's body's different and stuff like that.
Sure.
So, like, it's just idealistically everyone has to take it.
Also, like, why do people think like the conspiracy? Like, look, I'm all for a good. Thank you, sir. I'm all for a good conspiracy. Sometimes, you know, they can be fun. Like Tupac's alive in Cuba, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But there's like certain things that I'm like, that's just insane. Like the fact that like the COVID vaccine is gonna have a microchip in it, so there's gonna be like a new world order, or the idea that COVID came so like Joe Biden could be president. Like that's such a U.S. weird, like U.S. centric, like weird thought to even have. Like there's people all over the world that were affected by this just so we could switch from one like political party to another political party that may or may not do what they said they're gonna do. Like, come on, like
like the whole thing surrounded around America, and it's so excessive sometimes. Where I'm like, there's a whole like world. You would have to have so many people get on board with your lie. So many people get on board with all of this stuff, and I really don't think, especially in the area of social media, that anyone's that good at keeping their mouth shut, especially for a price.
Exactly. And the fact that countries would be like, yeah, I'm just going to sabotage my economy for
and all of my people's
and all of my people's health for you guys to do this. Like, sick. Let's all get on board.
Yeah, because we don't like Trump either. Like that doesn't
make sense.
There's just so much that's just ridiculous that you're like, how is that even, like, when I first heard and seen, basically the first time that I went into a flat earth wormhole.
Bro, no. Okay, yeah.
Like, you ever caught yourself in a place where they're trying to, like, you come across the pages and, like, everything just, when I saw it, I thought everything was a meme. I literally thought everything was a meme.
It's crazy because that's what I thought too. Or, like, even, like, the simulation, like, conspiracies, like, like, I really do think, like, at first, they must have had to start as a meme. Like, there's no way they didn't, and then people just genuinely started believing it.
That's how a lot of shit goes AWire. I mean,
because,
there's the Proud Boys, I think, was a joke. The whole Proud Boys, I think, was a joke, and I think it took on a life of its own.
Yeah,
and there's just a lot of stuff that's like it's just the mob thing. So it's like, okay, you could not like sports, but if you're at a sports party somehow, and everyone's talking about sports, you're going to pick a team.
Sure.
You don't know every player that's on that team.
Sure.
And you don't know anything about the sport. But you may say, well,
it's like going to a Super Bowl party.
My friend group likes this team, so I'll go for this team. Okay, well, and I mean, that's pretty much how people pick teams mainly. I mean, some people care, but other people is like, I live here, so I'm a this fan. I live here, and so I'm a this fan.
Yeah.
And I think that's really how things go. Like, well, it's a mob mentality. The way that people in my industry and everything feel is this way. Or everyone that I associate with online is this way. And if I don't agree with them, then I'm not a part of the group, or I'm not a part of the clique. And it's literally like nobody actually having thoughts or ideas, but just really like sheep shit.
Yeah. But to your point though, being a Houstonian, it's really hard to root for the for the Texans.
It's been.
Like, I don't think it's ever not going to be unless there's
I'm hoping
change.
Because I think those changes are getting ready to start. Starting with Bill O'Brien being on, and then finally being able to put something new in the organization, because we never had a good quarterback, and then when we have a good quarterback, now it's something else. There's always something else and always something else. You know?
Yo, he needs to be protected at all costs because if he's gonna get to a point where he's gonna be frustrated and he's gonna try to James Harden his way out of here.
We really need to get a Super Bowl. Like, we need to do something that really can solidify the city so that people can actually want to be here. And the problem is the people that do want to be here and are good, the organization gets rid of.
Yeah.
And I don't even understand it. Like, it makes no sense.
We miss you, Hop. Wherever you are, we miss you. We're glad you're doing well.
Yeah, real talk.
Yeah.
You know, shouts out. It's just, it's unfortunate with a lot of this stuff.
Yes.
Because we always have just superstars.
Yeah.
And we don't have a team for them. And so we just have this one superstar.
Yeah.
Like, the weirdest thing for, like, Watt to have, like, you know, usually, I guess, the star player of a team is a quarterback, idealistically, like, in the ideal world. But we had no quarterback for so long that, like, Watt in general. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I get it. You know, he's great. From the beginning, where I was like, what the fuck is this? Outlandish things. And I'm just like, hold on. I've never seen this type of shit, especially on the Texans. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was weird that your franchise player wasn't a quarterback or, like, a receiver.
Yeah.
But it's what it was. It is what it is.
And I think now it's starting to, you know, I mean, it's still there, but Watson's really coming up to the forefront.
Although, shout out Watt. He's done a lot for the city.
He has.
And it's sick.
And that's what I appreciate. I mean, I don't...
I want to see him get a ring because of that. Because how he has been able to give back to Houston. I think that's awesome. I think it's underappreciated how much people in those positions and stuff do for Houston. Like, we've had so many people, like, from, like, Bun B and Trey the Truth has done so much, like, through Harvey. Yeah. He did a whole bunch and came back around. He was, like, on boats helping people and, like, being out there and stuff. There was a lot of stuff that I think the Houston rappers and Houston entertainers do for the city, because I really think that there is, like, a togetherness. When shit goes down, the city comes together. Yeah. And I think that's always been, like, I see it, like, in the news and stuff, but it's like I don't see that really, really talked about. Yeah. Because, like, I don't know. I think a lot of people, they rep for their city and do this kind of stuff, but, like, I don't know what change actually gets brought to the city. What they're really trying to do to uplift the city and make it a better place for the people. And I think, like, we appreciate the city to a degree. Like, I really think that we all, like, hold it down real tough, and we all just hate Dallas. Yep. H-Town till I drown. It's a possibility. Here, right? And they would always say that California is going to be the one that falls into the ocean or whatever, but I think the ocean's just going to come up to us. The joke was on us the whole time, bro. Right? Conspiracy, they were distracting us. That's what they wanted us to. Yeah, they wanted us to think that California was going to go into the ocean, but it's really Houston and all of Texas. Yes, it's the southern border, but because we have all the oil, they don't want to talk about that shit. Yeah, it's because of the oil, and, like, Bill Gates is a lizard person, and he's going to take over the world, and he's going to start his own government. Let's keep it real, though. Does he not have mad lizard vibes? No, you know who has mad lizard vibes? Mark Zuckerberg. Yo, major lizard vibes. The Zuck is not a person. And it's weird because he also stays, like, a lot more quiet. In a sense, it's hard because everything gets brought out with Facebook, but, like, he just does all his shit in stealth. Very lizard-like. If it was someone that I would think would take over the world, I feel like it'd be the Zuck before Bill Gates. Me too, because, like, anyone who wants to, like he doesn't want to talk or speak or do any of that stuff. He just wants to do his plan. Yeah. Sit back. And he, like, tries to gain zero clout. Right. And how toxic Facebook is and can be, and how it, like, easily manipulates people, and how it, like, made you realize that a lot of your family members are, like, racist. Yeah, it literally, like, was supposed to connect people, and it literally divided the entire country. Yeah. Like, the original inception was, hey, you should, like, you know, I'm over here and you're over there, and we can connect. Well, wasn't it supposed to be like a dating website? No, I thought it was supposed to be kind of like Yik Yak, where it was like a college. Yeah, it was like a college dating website, I think. That's what it was supposed to be. I don't know, man. Well, I saw the movie a long time ago. I saw the movie, but I think that was the final piece. It was really just, like, to connect and, like, get with friends and stuff. But that dating aspect of letting
the users know if you're single or taken was the game changer. Where that one guy was just like, man, I wish I could just, just see if they were single. Or was it Justin Timberlake that said that? I thought it was the black haired dude that was kind of douchey.
Andrew Garfield?
I don't even know, man. It's so long since I've seen the movie, and I don't know actors.
I think it was Justin Timberlake that was like the one that was like, oh.
Yeah, well, that whole thing happens per the movie or whatever.
Yeah.
And I mean, now it's literally, I've literally seen in the comment section families break up. It's the most insane thing.
Oh, no, of course. Yeah, 100%.
Like, literally, you've seen a father putting a post and a daughter disagreeing with her father on there, and them disagreeing, and her just like them being like, I do not associate with you in this family anymore. And that's kind of insane.
To do it, but yeah, one, it's insane, and two, it's the worst place to do it, because if you're gonna do it in the privacy of your own home. Like, don't let the world see your family fall into pieces.
But that's what Facebook does.
Yeah, bro, it's crazy.
You wouldn't. I mean, some people would, but you wouldn't necessarily yell these things out in the street in real life.
No, 100% not.
It's when you're behind that keyboard in this thing, in this void of these ideas, and you feel like at that place, you feel like this is like, imagine a protest, right?
Yeah.
So big mob of people talking about things, and you're at the forefront at that moment leading the charge saying, hey, this is what I think, or this is how I feel, and I'm saying it in front of all these people that support me. And that makes you feel like you have a confidence, a power. You say things more strongly. You can actually look at your phone, and instead of just saying something, you could think that out real quick.
Yeah, I think like Mike Tyson said, that people are braver on the internet because they know they can't get punched in the face.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
because like the worst that can. I mean, sure, things can lead out of that. But at that moment, like if you're in front of a bully's face, idealistically,
sure,
and you start saying something wild, you can get punched before the sentence even gets out.
Yeah, bro, you're gonna have to square up with someone.
But at the end of the day, if you say something and really get somebody on the internet, it's on there. You got your screenshots. You said that shit. It's, whatever tweet could be deleted. They can say whatever. If you tweeted it and you don't choose to delete it, then it's still up there. Like, it's there, and everyone can be like, oh, when the oh will usually come once you get punched.
Yeah.
Right. So that oh just stays there in the void and be like, all right, whatever, you can come and try to punch me. That's not going to
undo what
I just did to you on this forum.
But does that make it right, though?
No.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I mean, it's what things are now.
Yeah.
It's just like at this point we have to, kind of like COVID. At that point, we now have to like adjust to the new normal. This is the new normal of society. It was not a societal issue before. It's not. It wasn't like something that's on our radar. And it's weird how in making life easier for us or adapting to our environment, we still, like the butterfly effect, we still affect ourselves so negatively.
It's interesting that there's a very real cost to comfort. Yeah. Like, whether you pay for it monetarily or just like in some other way, there's a real, and I even think kind of like dark cost to comfort, because we could all end up like Wall-E one day. Because you had told me about that Netflix documentary that talks about like the people that created the algorithms and like
the social dilemma.
Yeah. And how they all quit because they realized what they created was like a monster. Yeah. Like, that's crazy that there's like, they're the ones like responsible for it. And they gotta live with that, dude. Like,
and they're not, and they're, by the way they describe it, and who knows how things really go down behind it all, but they just thought they were just doing nice things to comfort the world. Like, wouldn't it be so great if you could just like a picture? Yeah. Or wouldn't it be so great if you could just like a post and someone can be like, "Hey, I like that."
And I don't want to blame it all on them. I think it's not their fault. I think it's more just like, at the end of the day, we're all broken people, so we're all gonna make things toxic in a way. Yeah. So I really think that's what it boils down to. But it's wild stuff.
It is, because you're like, just trying to make innovation. You just want to be at the forefront. Well, when you're at the forefront of something, you can't see what's up ahead. You have no blueprint, and you don't know what effect that's putting onto the world.
Sure, because I mean, it didn't exist before, so it's like, I mean, there was social media before Facebook, but I think it didn't have the power that like now Facebook has.
Yeah, it was just a whole other thing. It's weird to think of like MySpace and what it was, and MySpace being so
Exactly.
just so like what. But obviously, I guess not make it in that sense, because once Facebook came around, their way of grabbing people was just otherworldly, I guess. But like so much music came out of MySpace, so many people's like intro career. Yeah, like that's like the Soulja Boy era. That's like the Dane Cook era of comedy.
Yeah,
that's like a lot of that stuff coming out. A lot of the scene bands, a lot of these like metalcore bands were like MySpace core was, I think, like a
taking a phone pic with your razor like this.
Yes, like, and that's where everyone started learning how to take selfies, because no one had front facing cameras.
Yeah, unless you had a razor.
Razors had front facing cameras?
No, they didn't. That's wild. I'm sorry. No, they didn't.
Yeah, I was like, damn, Razor was mad ahead of its time.
They didn't.
But like, it was of course the era of flipping your phone and trying to take a picture, mirror pictures.
Yo, I'm kind of glad we grew up in this time, because I don't know how I would handle being a kid in middle school or high school right now, and especially not 2020 with COVID, but like just the way like social media is and how like dominant it is in like their lives. Like my little cousin, he's in 6th grade. And he's not like super into like social media and stuff like that, but he's like constantly like playing like gaming on his computer. Yeah. And when I was staying with him for a little bit, well, with my uncle for a little bit, because my parents had sold their house, and there was a day that, like, I think 3 days passed, and I was like, "Yo, have you like been outside?" And then I was like, "Have you like seen sunlight?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he like points at his window, and I'm like, "No, bro. Like, there's
like real sunlight, like gotten vitamin D, not like through this window."
I want you to understand that there's like a real world out there. Like, it's not just here. Like, there's stuff out there for you to see and experience. You know?
It's weird because, like, I remember elementary school is when I bought my first phone, but hold on. It was a Target prepaid phone.
Oh, okay.
That like I got some birthday money, and in my mind I thought I wanted a cell phone.
Sure.
So I bought a phone, had nobody to put, no contacts other than my parents to put into this phone. No social media to be checking. I literally had this phone, and then
say you had a phone.
And then I would basically start using the credits of minutes to buy like wallpapers, and to buy ringtones, and to probably buy games that I could probably play on this little flip phone.
You mean you didn't record the radio? So that could be your ringtone?
No. I was over here buying ringtones, dog, early on. Early on buying ringtones.
Dang. Must be nice.
I mean, I was using these minutes to buy these ringtones. I wasn't using them on anything else. And it was just such a weird, like, thing. And so I let that die. It just basically messed up because I never refilled it with minutes. And I think at some point I had to do some extra step, and that was done. I was like, okay, I'm done with this. Then I finally get put like onto the plan or something. And it's back in the day. Remember the times where if you clicked on the internet, you had to back real quick, because if not, you're afraid that you're going to get charged?
Yes. Like if you accidentally clicked on the internet and you were like, oh no.
Yeah, like I had a BlackBerry, and you click on the internet button and it starts like loading the internet thing, and you're like, oh no.
Yeah.
Because you know you don't have internet in the plan, and you're not trying to get.
Yeah.
You're not trying to get charged.
What was the age that you got like a legitimate phone?
A legitimate phone?
I was in 8th grade.
8th grade? I honestly think I had to have been younger, because I got my first iPhone. I got my first iPhone in like 8th grade.
Woo!
I know, it was a 3G. It was the 3G. And I remember, because the problem was iPhones were exclusively AT&T.
Oh, that makes sense.
And we were on Sprint. And so I know We were on Sprint before.
Really?
Yes, we were on Sprint for a while. Not the biggest fan of Sprint in general, but we were on Sprint for a good while. And after that, like, we wanted the iPhones because, like, that was, like, what was coming out. But everybody started making, not, like, makeshift iPhones because iPhone's just so specific, but everyone started trying to fuse them.
There was those wacky, like, smartphones. Like, before the specific Android, there was, like, all these, like, wacky, like, smartphones.
Yeah, I had one of the wacky... It was this crazy phone that I could get from Sprint. I can't even remember the name of it. But the way that it would work is it was still, like, one of those stick phones, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that you would just... But it was thinner, and it had this case, and it was like a wallet, right? So it would come up like this. You flip it to one side, pull that thing down, and you have a phone.
Mm-hmm.
Flip that thing up, turn it around, pull that down, and you have an MP3 player. So it was literally a two-sided phone. One side's an MP3 player, and the other side is a phone. And that was their way of being like, well, you can put the iPod and the iPhone and the phone together and make an iPhone. Well, we can double-side this phone and make an MP3 player phone.
Yeah.
And it was like when they were really trying to battle it. And it was probably one of the most interesting phones I've ever had.
Yeah.
Because my mom got it, then I got it. And then once we switched over to AT&T, she had like an iPhone 3GS and I had an iPhone 3G. Somehow we just
I didn't get an
those.
iPhone until the 5. I had the 5C. That was my very first iPhone.
The 5C?
Yeah.
So around when was that? So did you have Androids before?
I was a senior in high school.
You were a senior in high school?
Yeah.
So you had Androids before?
Yeah.
We texted on Androids?
Bro, yeah.
Well, actually, I'll keep it real with you. In middle school, because I was so early on to iPhone, I was like team iPhone from the very beginning. And at one point in like contrarian phase of high school, I was kind of like, did I just hop on this just mad early and just stay on this? What if I'm an Android guy and I just never gave Androids a chance? So I took a leap out.
The prodigal son returns.
I got a Samsung Galaxy, one of the Samsung Galaxies early on. Like I forget which one it was. I'll tell you one thing as far as like comparing and legitimately like getting kind of the equivalent of what the modern iPhone was at that time to the modern Samsung Galaxy. And that was the first time they were supposed to be like water resistant. That's when that was really starting to get introduced. And,
did I know you then?
I mean, I'm assuming we had to have known each other, yeah, because
it was pretty late. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm almost certain. And I just remember trying to go into a pool and film underwater like videos, and they're like, I messed the phone up. I did mess the phone up underwater. I had to put it in rice and take it over there, and they're like, if you're gonna do that, please get a waterproof case. Like it's water resistant, but like don't do that anymore. And they gave me another phone. I was like, all right, I don't want to do it anymore. But
fix y'all's marketing, bro.
Right? Like don't make me think that I can do this and then it not be able to do this.
Yeah.
That's when I realized that the cool thing about like Samsungs is just how much you can just kind of cheat them. Like I downloaded so much music. Like if you would on a computer, because you could just download it, put a file over here, do this, like everything you can do on the phone. It worked like a literal computer where I can then copy this into my music app, into my files, do this, add artwork if I wanted, do all these customizations because it's a lot less secured as iPhones. iPhones keep themselves super secure in this box. Nothing else can really come in other than Apple.
Yeah.
And then like what you allow and, you know, websites and stuff. But downloads are weird on the iPhone. You can't really download things there. It's just a whole lot more of a protected process, which doesn't allow for as much personalization. But if you like the way that the Apple Flow is and you like that system, like me, then that's...
Which leads me to my next point. We're going to take a brief break.
And then we're going to come into another point.
Yeah, we're just going to take a quick break, and here's a word from our sponsors, Apple. Send a check.
Yes, Apple. Shouts out Apple.
Shouts out Apple.
All right, and we're back.
We're back. How was that commercial break, everyone? I will say, if you hear me sniffling or doing this, or just messing around with my face, I don't have the Rona. I'm allergic to cats. Zen has a cat. It wants to kill me.
It really does.
I think it knows that I'm allergic to it.
I really
we
think
have beef. I've sprayed it with the spray bottle a couple of times.
But a lot of times, let's keep it real.
Yeah.
I have to spray it for you.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because I feel bad too. Because it's like it's not my cat. Who am I to spray the cat?
I get it, but at the same time, my goal is hoping that if you spray it enough, that it's just like doesn't want to be around you.
Yeah.
But it seems to take it as a challenge.
Oh no, for sure. Like right before we came into film, it was just like sitting there, like ready to like pounce on me, and I'm like, if you pounce on me, we really can't film, and I gotta go home and shower.
And the crazy thing is, like, it knows very well that you are strapped with the bottle.
Yeah.
And that you're gonna pull up with it, but it still wants beef.
She wants all the smoke.
Yeah, like.
Yeah.
She understands, and she's like, "You think I'm afraid of a little water?" Now she is. The second that you hit her, she is running away, but she's still out there like,
yeah,
I'm willing to get wet.
Yeah, no, for sure. And like, I think my allergies have pretty much narrowed me down into being a dog person, which I actually kind of wasn't at first. I was kind of afraid of dogs when we first met.
I remember that. And then I think my little dog was one of like these dogs that was just so like Lacey in the beginning, like when we used to take her skateboarding, was like the cutest dog you've ever seen in life.
But you had all those Shih Tzus.
We did have hella Shih Tzus back then,
and they were all chill, like they were all nice. So like I had some bad experiences with dogs up to that point.
I've never had those types of experiences with dogs, and I think it's because I've had dogs so much that I get super comfortable with them. Mm-hmm. Sometimes to a fault, because I do trust dogs a lot more than I think I should.
Yeah. Because
I do remember a time that I'm like, I just see a dog and I'm like, hey, what's up? And I just go down and it like growled and almost tried to bite me.
Yeah.
And I realized like, oh wait, not all dogs like me.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I walk into the situation as every dog likes me.
Yeah.
Even if the dog doesn't. And usually if you walk into situations that way with animals, I think they're very sensory. Like they feel things.
Yeah.
And I think they'll be like, if they feel like
vibe check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you fail that vibe check and you've given off like uncertain vibes because you're uncertain about them, they're going to be uncertain about you, and then
like apparently Bella doesn't like people, but she's cool with me.
Yeah, but it's weird. Like she has anxiety issues, I think, because she's just like every time something's around and she senses anything, she starts barking.
Yeah.
Like all the time, and it's like, come on, you know we're coming home. Do you have to bark? Like, can't you sense it's us?
Yeah.
It's annoying.
I know. Like when I walked in, she was like, "Wah!" And then like I was like carrying her, and she was like going off.
Yeah, she was like upset. Like, I know it's just you now, but
I don't want to admit I'm wrong.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna growl a little bit just to let you know that. Yeah. That there could be problems. Yeah. There isn't, but there's a possibility.
Yeah.
There could be problems.
Just so you know that.
Yeah, just so you know also that like if you come on some other vibes one day.
Yeah.
You might get the smoke.
Yeah. But also don't put me down because I like to be
because I like to be carried. So keep doing what you're doing. But just also be aware.
Yeah.
That
I could bite you, probably won't. But if I wanted to, I could. No, man, my future brother-in-law dog, he has 2 dogs. They're both like amazing, beautiful dogs. It's a pit mix and oh gosh, she's a chocolate lab. And the pit bull, he's so interesting to me because he doesn't know he's a pit bull. Like he doesn't know he's
Those are my favorite types of dogs.
Yeah, he doesn't know he's this buff, like super strong dog. Like he's just like, I'm a little baby. And like he just acts like a little kid. And like if you're like napping or whatever, or I've slept with him a couple times, and like I'll like because I've like dog sat him before, so like when I would get up for work and I'd have to take him out, I'd be like, come on, like wake up, Archie, like it's time to go outside, and he'd be like and he'd like stretch and like be upset that he's like being woken up. Like it's just hilarious.
That's been her a lot these mornings for some reason. Mm-hmm. Where like we get up and she's still in bed. Yeah. And once I'm like getting ready and coming into the room and like grabbing my wallet and stuff is when she kind of decides, okay, fine, I'll get up, because once I leave, she goes outside. Mm-hmm. But sometimes she's like, nah, it's cold today, I'm staying in bed.
Yeah.
And pretty much as soon as she gets out of bed and gets reunited with the cat, they immediately start playing, doing whatever her and they do.
Yeah.
This morning, the cat goes up to her and it's like, hey, like, comes into the room, hey, good morning. And she literally, like, growls at her, like, not now, bitch. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sleeping in today. Do not touch me. Get out of here.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, damn, like.
Is we gonna be like that?
Yeah, especially, like, you're sleeping right now. Like, your sleep's not that valuable. You sleep at all times of the day.
She really is asleep.
Yeah, like, you sleep at all times of the day. It's not like this is the time I have to sleep. All you do is sleep.
She's got to flex the authority.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just like, oh, it's too early in the morning for this right now.
Yeah.
Especially now it's getting cold.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that it's getting cold, man.
Me too. But it only gets so cold because we are in Houston and we don't really have a winter.
No.
We have, like, teasers.
And that's the day that I have to pull out the strongest jackets.
Yeah, you have to come fitted.
Like, because everything, the problem with Houston is it would be so sick to be able to dress like you would in New York, but you're going to be sweating profusely.
No, you're gonna die.
Like, it's not going to work. You can't layer up out here.
No.
So the second I get to layer up, it's go time.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Like, this is the kind of place, like, the second that it gets, like, to 80 degrees as opposed to, like, 90 degrees, you're like, oh, shit, I can wear a long sleeve.
Yeah, let me throw on a long sleeve. Let me throw on a sweater. Yeah. Let me throw on a hoodie.
75? 75? Ooh.
Yo, okay, hold on. I don't want to say, like, this is a white thing. I'll say this is an American thing, but, like...
I mean, okay.
Sure. I'm just trying to be nice. Hoodies and, like, shorts, when I do that, my parents think I'm crazy.
That's a white thing. 100%.
Yeah.
Like, I get it, and I think I've done it, but it's 100%.
We've done it, like, for sure, but, like, I just think it's funny that, like, my parents think I'm an idiot when I do that.
I don't understand, personally, going out the house like that. I only see, like, hanging around the house like that.
Oh, yeah, if it's a chill day, like, I ain't trying to go nowhere, and if I do, I'm just gonna go to the store, and that's it.
I just think there's something about legs not getting as cold in general for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can kind of, like, chill with your legs out and it's not as bad.
I mean, no, but I've seen some wild stuff. Like, me and my family went to Colorado a couple years back to back, and we'd be, like, out in the mountains where it's, like, snowing, then there'd be dudes, like with, like, the puffy jacket on, and, like, the North Face jacket, and then, like, shorts.
There's certain people that literally have this...
They just happen to be Caucasian, but, whatever.
It's a white thing, but there's something about certain white people for some reason where they don't like to wear pants. Like, it's a legit thing.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't care what it is.
I was the other way around. I hated showing my...
Yeah, it wasn't even until recently.
Yeah, until recently you've seen me in shorts.
I don't even know if I've seen you in shorts, but for me recently is when I feel like I finally was like, you know what, shorts might be the wave. Yeah. Like, during the summer, especially, like, when we have to embrace it.
Yo, COVID made me think summer's shorts are the wave.
Really?
Yes, because there's no reason to dress up anymore. Like, I work from home now, so I'm just in shorts half the time. Dude,
beginning of quarantine was so stressful. I was getting fitted to go, grab something from the grocery store.
Yeah, no, I was just trying to find an excuse to get fitted.
Like, it was... I'm like, all right, let me put the Yeezys on. Like, I have no reason for this. I'm going down the street.
Not getting a haircut was the most stressful thing ever.
Oh, my goodness.
Like, and I've been very stressed about haircuts here in Houston because I left for college, and I when you do the math of how long I've been out of Houston, I was gone for about 6 years.
Damn.
Because I stayed in NAC for an extra 2 years to work. So in that time, I got a real barber in NAC who, like, knows what I like and knows how to cut my hair, and he's just clean with it. Shout out Sapo, the homie, bro. He's just like, he's got me. And anytime I go back, I tell him, I'm like, bro, people just don't cut like you in Houston. Maybe they do, I just don't know.
You just haven't found.
I just haven't found the right place. Now, granted, also everything's cheaper over there, so, like, a good haircut over there is, like, plus tip, you're looking at, like, $20.
Okay.
A good haircut here plus tip, 50.
Yeah, easy. For me to find something that's like $20 tip and all, I have the place,
Yeah,
but it's across town, and like I moved away from that area,
yeah,
and so like now I have to find something in my area, especially like that I've been moving so much.
mm-hmm.
It's just been so frustrating to try to find places. That's why I've been going to Tune Up, because at least I know.
I got this haircut there.
I mean, it doesn't look bad.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I don't think it's just it's not gonna be like. I think there's sometimes when you look at your hair and you're like, damn.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it gets you there. I think it gets you to like, this will work.
Yeah, for sure.
That's literally how I feel, and at
yeah.
least I know that I'll feel comfortable. It's because then there's the, damn, they fucked me up. Like that's the worst.
Well, I can get over that because like I have really thick hair, so it's after a week it'll be fine because it'll all blend in.
But if you're trying to get your hair cut for like an event or something,
oh no, yeah, no. If it's a real event, I will drive to NAC and see Sapo. Like I will not. Yeah,
you're like this.
Yo, like no, like dead ass. Like the weekend I got engaged. First thing I did to get ready for that day was go see Sapo at Fadeaholics. And I told him when I sat down on the chair, I was like, yo, bro, like, I'm getting engaged today. I need to look good. And he's like, all right, I got you.
And he had you?
And he had me, bro.
I need to get there, man. Like, I've never felt, other than, like, going to Locket V Salon and it just being, like, he's just being really good.
Yeah.
And, like, that's my cheap place and that's just across town and it's just, but there's just something about it. It's because he trims back.
Yeah.
A little further, so it makes it look cleaner, but sometimes it grows out bad that way. I've just never felt, I haven't felt that, damn, this person knows what exactly to do.
Yeah, and like I do miss that like barber shop. It was very much like your stereotypical like barber shop like vibes. It was a cool place. I really enjoyed it. Like it was like two Hispanic dudes and a black guy, and they just like did amazing fades and like. It like had the vibe, like they were talking about sports, they were talking about like music.
Like it's like the barbershop talk.
Yeah, it was literally like the barbershop talk, and like one of the barbers like was a rapper, and he'd like talk about his mixtape. It was just like funny to hear. Like it was a vibe. Like I genuinely enjoyed going there. There was another barbershop that I would go before, that was in downtown Nacogdoches. I'm not gonna say their name because I didn't have like the best experience there. So like, I liked it because it was like all old school looking, but I didn't think it was gonna be that old school. So like, I walk in and I'm like, oh man, like this looks sick. They have like the old chairs and like they're doing like the single razor, like you know, shaves and all. Like, oh, that's cool. And then I would go and it would be fine. But then, like, when all the Trump stuff started happening, like, a lot, like, it started getting weird. Like, every time I don't know if I was in there, like, they started talking about it, or if they just talked about this all the time, but it just felt like every time I was in there, they were, like, talking about it, about, like, Trump and, like, how sick he was. And then I think, like, the one thing that happened when I was, like, finally over this place where I was like, I'm done, like, it was when I remember like you would have to like sign in, and there was one other Hispanic dude in there. He was a little darker than me, and he was already getting his hair cut. And the dude like walks up to the clipboard and he looks at it, looks at me, looks at the guy, looks at me, looks back at the clipboard, looks at the guy, looks at me again. And I guess he's trying to like make a decision, and then like he looks back at the guy and he's like, "Are you Pablo?" And then he's like, "No, man, I think that's him." And I was like, "Yeah, that's me." And then he's like, "All right," but I don't know, like it just like I don't know why it left such a bad taste in my mouth that I was like, I need to find a new place.
Because he was literally trying to figure out whose name it was by specific looks. Like he was trying to reduce you guys down.
Who's more Mexican looking?
Yeah, like Pablo sounds pretty Mexican. Let's see. He definitely looks more Mexican, but goddamn, Pablo's a Mexican ass name.
Yeah. And I guess like we don't dress like stereotypical like Hispanic, which is if that's what he was going for.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what like.
That's the thing too. Is like, God. I mean, but we all do it. Like that's like the whole basis of Karen. You think of that name, and what does it remind you of? What do you picture in your head?
I think of like the haircut, UGG boots.
Yeah.
Starbucks in the hand.
Target bag in the other.
Target bag in the other. Maybe a vest.
Lululemon's on.
Some Live Love Laughs T-shirt.
Yeah.
Or like a Bible verse.
Yeah, those are the Bible verses are very popular, and there's a bottle of wine in the Target bag.
Yeah. Let me express that I love Jesus, but also like not act like.
Yeah. Let me just show you I am a Christian woman. Okay? And for you to do this to a woman of God, for you to pull this here in front of us
At Chick-fil-A.
at Chick-fil-A, you ought to be ashamed of yourselves. Why not open on Sundays? Y'all being such sinners. Man, Karens are wild. That's the one they've got right now. Before, white people used to have like racist. I mean, and it's still a thing, but like that was like the word. The second you would tell any white person, like, man, that's kind of racist, it would be like legitimate, like, bro, they'd pull you aside, bro. I really hope you don't think that like I'm like that. Like it's literally like you condemn their whole family tree. With the second that they hear that, they start getting super defensive.
Mm-hmm.
And like even if you say it casually, I said it to a cop once because he would say some wild shit. Yeah. Like, okay, I got like the joke and stuff, but when he looks like the problem with him is he looked like the white racist cop. He like shaved head, mustache, like
good old boy,
kind of big, like
good old boy,
older, like looked racist, and he would just like make these little jokes, like he would just say these little jokes that he would think are funny, like if I was wearing fake Versace or something like that, but like as like a grown guy.
Yeah.
And then like, or no, that I was wearing fake polo or maybe calling it pollo or something like that.
Yeah.
Like I'm thinking of like certain parallels like that. And one time I was like, that's got a little racist. Yeah. And he like, all the jokingness went, and later on he was like, I really hope you don't think that like, you know, I'm legitimately racist, you know. Yeah. And because I would also
But were you wearing real polo or did you have USPA on?
No, dog. I'm always with the real, like, dog, I got the real polo right here.
No, I know.
Don't even.
I know.
Dog.
I just had to trigger you a little bit.
Don't even, dog.
He had on the black forces and some USPA. This man don't care about his life. Don't even get me started. This man don't care about his life.
I can't do all black shoes. Even like hyped all black shoes.
Yeah, no.
Like I can't do. I don't think I could do bread Yeezys.
No.
Because anytime there's an all black shoe, to me, it feels like a non-slip kitchen shoe. Every single time. Unless.
Or a murderer shoe.
Yeah.
The felon shoe?
The only time I can do it is like a Jordan 4.
Yeah.
A Jordan 4 is the only time that I can look at a shoe like that and be like, all black would be dope.
I guess the 12s too, like the flu games, but they have that red, so that kind of distracts it. Or they can have like another.
Well, I mean, the red on the Yeezys distracts, but there's just something about these all black shoes. Like I can't do. I can do black upper, but when it's the gum and the upper black, it's just like that's the thing. Like I have triple black Ultra Boosts, and like they're super comfortable and I love them, but there's just that all black factor.
Yeah.
That I'm just like I'm in, but they're an athletic shoe, so it kind of works a little different.
Yeah.
I almost joined in on the gang with the all black Air Forces. It was a little bit different, but when the NBA Supreme Air Force Ones came out, that basically was the Air Force Ones with every team's logo on it.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to get it. I wanted to get the white pair, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna get it. I went on there. I was like, the jerseys are way too expensive. Some of them are kind of tight, but these shoes, I'm kind of rolling with these shoes. So I went into the app, and I'm going in there, and in usual Supreme fashion, there's all the crashing, all the craziness, all this stuff, and in the whole hype of everything.
All the L's.
all the L's. And in the moment of me just being in it, I didn't want to take an L, and I jumped to the black, and I bought it in my size impulsively. And then I'm like, I'm not going to wear these black Air Forces. Like, I mean,
then you have to rob the liquor store.
and then when you're wearing that, like you have black Air Forces, but then you have every team on them. It's like
it's a lot.
So much brighter. It's just like the white's clean. You have that clean look, and if that's on there, like it's hard. Yeah. But the black ones, I'm just like immediately posted them, listed them as soon as I got the confirmation. Already had them on eBay. Yeah. Made a profit by the time everything worked out for the eBay transaction, and when the bid was over and it got sold. Mm-hmm. I literally received the shoes that day, got them, opened them up, like, oh, this is what they look like in real life, huh? And then boxed them up and shipped them out. It was just fucking, it just looped its way. Immediately.
Have you ever resold sneakers then?
I immediately resold them. The second that I bought them and realized why the fuck did I buy these, I listed them. With the confirmation, like everyone was doing that day. Mm. Just like without having the shoe in hand, but being like, look, here's the confirmation. I have these shoes. Here's the picture of them.
There's a couple of shoes that I've tried to buy this year that I knew it was going to be a bag that I've been upset that I've taken L's on. I've never won anything off the sneakers app. Never.
Ever?
Ever. I only take L's. I don't know.
I mean, I don't think I've ever bought anything off the sneakers app either. I've just gotten stuff off Supreme. Supreme's the only thing that I've been able to successfully, like,
I think
go through.
I think if we lived in New York, I think I would try Kith, because I think Kith is more accessible, and they have like the real drops too.
Yeah, I mean, when I went, it was so much easier to go in there. Yeah, to just walk and like grab something whatever you wanted to get. That's available, of course.
I genuinely love Kith clothes.
They make really cool.
They make really cool out of the box clothes,
and their collabs are always cool.
Yeah, like it's not your typical like box logo. Here's how we're gonna rip off Supreme.
Yeah, but we're gonna take a quick break and then get right back into some stuff.
All right,
we're back. So we were talking a lot about sneakers and style in general, and we were having this conversation that you brought up to my attention about. Like style and religion, kind of, I guess, like that that line in this case, kind of because of this case, where we actually have to now to have that conversation and see where one thing may stop and the other thing may start or whatever. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's just more like people have hobbies and people like stuff, and
so what ended up like what happened with this? Like, what's the backstory?
So basically, there's this church in Los Angeles called Mosaic, which I've been to. I've been to one of their campuses. It's actually really cool. Their lead pastor, Erwin McManus, he talks about it in his podcast, but basically he has. He has worked for the church. He's been in fashion. He had a film company. Like he stepped away from the church to do stuff like that. Like he's been in the corporate world and he's been in the church world, like back and forth. And just recently he made a clothing line, and I thought it was sick. I like the pieces. They're interesting. They're not what you would expect. Like there's like easy slam dunks that you can do right now with what's like popular, and I think this kind of takes a little shift in that. So I like that. But yeah, there was a lot of people giving them hate because he's a pastor and he created a clothing line, and he like this stuff is not cheap, so people were upset about it. Yeah. But also, like I even think like this just came to mind. Like you have churches like Hope City that are in Houston that are like big churches that are like cool, like trying to be like cool and like modern and stuff, where they also have like clothing and merch and they put it out, and it's just like them ripping off streetwear brands, or like other churches like do that all the time and nobody has a problem with it.
But I think the difference is if the church is putting out merch, then that's more than likely for the church. It's a way of getting funding for the church. Sure. But if this is personal, the problem that I see or whatever, or when that line kind of gets a thing, is when you put yourself out there as one thing, and you then now represent, every move you make represents that company. Like anywhere, if you'd be like at a corporation,
Sure.
and anything that you do reflects what that organization stands for, essentially, because you are kind of like the face of it.
Yeah.
And so anything that you might do for anything else in general, they assume it's tied to this, or assume that it's backed by the company. It's like Sean Witherspoon from round 2. When you see like him put out something with Nike and stuff like that, you still assume that he's like, it's still associated with round 2 in a way. It's still associated with this story, even though he's the individual that created this, but is also doing this. It's like what brought him out to the world is this store and his interest in that.
Yeah.
So regardless, he's always going to have that tether and that connection. Yeah. And while he's still active in that, it would be one thing if like he wasn't active in the church. But I think that kind of makes a lot of people look and see like,
but like
where do your priorities lie?
But like he did this before. Like he had a this isn't the first time he has a fashion company. So that's where I'm like, he's not using his church clout to do this. Like he had already did this from when he's stepped away from like being a pastor. And like when he tells his story, he talks about how he had job opportunities to like be a lead pastor and make a lot of money, but he went the other route and made no money, and no one had a problem with that. You know, like all these people, like he was saying, like it's funny how people are upset now that I've done something that is for essentially like for profit, where I can employ people in a time when there's no jobs, and you know people are mad. But if I were to sell it for like $1, like if it was like $20, like no one would have a problem with it. And then his thing is like, I want to be an artist and I want to make things that are worthy. So I'm not going to undersell myself. And if I want to be taken seriously, like basically the way I thought about it is like he was like saying like, I'm not Forever 21, so I'm not going to make this like super cheap fast fashion thing.
And I think what a lot of people fail to realize in fashion in general is in order to get those cheap prices that everybody loves and everybody feels is like good to the consumer, that takes a lot of exploitation on the other end.
Yeah. And only, a lot of like, harm to the environment.
Yeah. In order for that to be made so cheap, it has to be made in mass production, and it has to be made with materials that are easy, and your quality goes away, and the amount of money that you're able to pay people to actually make this is going to go down. So people have to make less, things have to be cheaper, things have to be made in large quantities to where it loses real value in a sense of like,
right.
And not only that, you have to be able to have the clientele to fill all that.
Yeah.
If you want clothes to be cheap and you be able to like make any sort of profit, or it just like, you know, survive, keep the business afloat. In order to keep the lights on,
right,
it has to be a certain place,
right. And there's another thing that like frustrates me with like the church, where it's like this idea that like you have to be poor or like money is bad. And I think it's really just like people projecting their own misconception and their own idea of what money is really. You know, they think of money and they think, oh, money is the root of all evil, and like if you have any sorts of money, that means you put more of your energy into having that than to having a relationship with God. And I think that's just not true. Like, and you see like people's like unhealthy like thoughts of money. Like the way I try to think about it, and I'm still young, I'm still learning. So, but the way I try to think about it is money is a tool, and like a tool, and I think about it more of like a power tool. So like a saw. If you have a lumberjack who knows how to use a saw, you know, he knows how to chop down wood to make, you know, furniture, to like build a fire, what have you, whatever.
To actually use it.
You actually, you know, use it for its purpose. Sorry, we're not promoting chopping down trees. Roman, don't yell at me later. It's just a metaphor. Anyway, but you put that in the hands of a kid, and the kid's going to chop his hands off, you know, or he's going to hurt somebody else. So, you know, I think people just play on their own insecurities and portray them onto other people. And like, I don't think there's anything wrong with being a person like of God and like being wealthy. Like, I genuinely don't think that that's a bad thing. if anything, that's a good thing because you have more to give to what you believe in.
Yeah. If you, like, idealistically, yes, the more you make and in your percentages, the more that you're able to give to God and more that you're able to do for God. But I think a lot of times people see like when they see somebody with a lot of money and they see themselves being like big supporters of God, everyone just sees that other side. It's just that thinking of if you, and it's the same thing that people see with all like the billionaires and stuff, where they're like, you have that and you can do this, so why aren't you doing it?
I think it's more of a jealousy thing too.
Of course, I 100% think that it is, where it's like, if I had that money, I would be doing this, that, and the third with it. Mm-hmm. But because you don't, like, you're literally just saying, like, if I could, like, if I would, man, if I just, man, just wait if I could.
Realistically, man, like, things cost money. Like, you need money to do things. Like, whether you like it or not, at the end of the day, you need some sort of income.
Yeah.
You need some sort of, I'm not saying God doesn't provide because He absolutely does. But at the end of the day, like, the provision is going to be monetary,
Yeah.
Like, so I don't know, man. I don't really know what people were hating. Like, if you want to go into, like, the line itself, I think it's kind of sick. We have the website up. If you want to, like, talk about some of the pieces.
I mean, for me personally, there's just a lot of stuff that's, like, a little wild. Like, I like the jackets because I like the army type jackets. But
I figured you would because of the color too.
But see this, I'm not a big fan of this. Like, I don't understand the idea of like a purse in the front of my chest. Like it's. I mean, I guess it's just a pocket. Those zippers are throwing me off because those zippers kind of make me feel like I'm wearing, like, it gives me the appearance of like an apron or like overalls from a distance, to where I'm like, that's just, it would be caught off guard for me. And there's hella buttons that I think are unnecessary. But like the vibe is cool. I like the string and stuff, and then the color and overall way that it looks is interesting. But that's like probably my least favorite piece from here. And the pants are mad wild. They look like something Roman would wear. But like, again, you have that kind of vibe of you like dropped your overalls. Like when you're wearing overalls. I mean, okay, I don't know how often you're wearing overalls.
When I was a kid in the 90s.
Whenever they like have them and basically are just wearing them as pants and just let the like, flap hang. And I think that's like the vibe that we're getting here. And sometimes I just get.
I don't know if you have to wear it like that though. I think it has buttons if you don't want to wear it like that.
To me, it's just like extra fabric for no reason. Sometimes throws me off. I'm like, it's like the bread in the middle of the Big Mac. What's the point?
I do like the kind of belt thing it has built in.
Yeah, I think that's interesting.
And I like the bottom too with like the buttons or whatever that is.
Those are just rips. Oh no, I think they're like.
I think they connect.
Oh, I think that's like so you taper your own pants.
Yeah, so you can taper your pants.
That's hard.
Yeah. Because
that's a big thing. Like, I'm always having to taper my own pants and stuff. Just
My mom's my tailor.
Oh, I just like do like the twist thing.
I hate how that looks sometimes.
It depends on the pants. Like sometimes it's a look,
but sometimes it's like it doesn't work with every pair. It bugs me when people do it with pairs that don't work, but that's another conversation. Anyway.
I mean, it's sometimes it's the way you got to be, or if you want to go get.
But the sweatshirt, bro, the sweatshirt is hard.
The sweatshirt was hard at first because I thought these were like bullet holes at first, but they're dandelions, and all these dandelions are different. Each one of the dandelions on these are different. So I don't know if all of them are always different.
Yeah, they're all. So that was the whole thing, is that because they're using repurposed like army material, no piece is the same.
Like that. This one's hard. And then I really like this color too. Honestly, all of these colors I like. I mean, not enough for me to spend. Oh, I guess people weren't rocking with this one as much. It's still available. All the other ones are sold out. Oh no, it's sold out. Size 2. I don't know what size 2 is, but
I think everything's kind of like the oversized thing.
Yeah, I don't know. There's size 3 and size 2.
I don't know what that means either. We need a size chart. That's my beef. I'm not actually hating. I want to know what size 2 means.
And then by the time you figure that out,
apparently the sweatpants are super comfortable.
I mean, I would hope so for $260.
Yeah,
I would hope. But that's actually like the cheaper end of things. Like
exactly. Like when people were like mad, like wilding out, and I think because it's also people that don't understand high fashion and don't understand like what having select lines is really about. Where it's not gonna be, you're not understand where you're buying what you're buying, you know.
But at the same time, I'm gonna keep it real. I guess the whole fit, but I'm so sick of people doing black and white T-shirts and charging like $120.
Oh no, yeah, that's insane.
This stuff like the black hoodie too. To me, I don't understand. Like it has no logo or no sort of like
for sure
indication of like what you're supporting.
I understand it more on the pants and the shirt, the parkas. The hoodie is kind of wild, but they're all made in the U.S. So U.S. production is more expensive. The pants are hard,
and that's another thing too. A lot of people want to like. Everyone wants to bring things into America, and then they realize when you bring things into America, things get more expensive. So expensive,
yeah.
So it's like if you guys like the stuff that is super cheap and that you get that's all readily accessible and stuff like it again, convenience comes with confidence.
Exactly.
And I mean
comes at a
cost.
Yeah, I know what you're trying to say.
Somehow, right?
Yeah.
And you see it with that. Like you see that basically trying to make things cheaper and for everyone to feel like, oh, this is affordable and everything. Well, the rest of everything else behind this scene, behind that curtain is a shit show in order for you to feel like, oh, well, yeah, I'll buy this.
Right.
And it's insane.
Mm-hmm. No, to me, I just feel bad for them that like they have to be put in this box. And I think that even the only reason they addressed it, like what he was saying was that like to try to push for a change where it like opens up the door for, people who are of faith that want to be creative in certain things feel like they can be and open up a space for that. But the pants, bro, the military pant at the bottom, no, actually the patchy one, the like khaki one.
This khaki one's kind of hard, but to me they're all like painter pants. Like I kind of like these button things back here. The military pant number 1's kind of cool.
But the number 6, I like the simplicity and the color of it. But also how it has like that one patch. Yeah,
as opposed to all these huge patches that look like you scraped your knee.
But that's the look, though.
I get the look, but sometimes it's just hard for me. Like I love to see it. Yeah, I just could never
wear it. Yeah,
it's just like not like I'm not going to spend that much money to experiment.
No, for sure.
You know what I mean?
No. And like I think the way I'm looking at it is, and just the way I interact with a lot of streetwear and with sneakers is, I know I can't afford this, but I can appreciate what it is.
It's kind of like, I mean, it's a little different, but if you want to put it in the same vein of like going to an art museum, like it's not like you're gonna buy these paintings.
Yeah, I'm not.
You can go to an art gallery. Yeah. You can go to an art gallery and look at like all these nice paintings, and they all have prices on there, and you're like, appreciate like that is a very nice piece. And you can at the same time judge it and be like, that piece is ugly or whatever. And regardless, like that doesn't mean you were going to buy one of these pieces and take it home.
Right. And I think that's one thing that also like upset me about it was the fact that they weren't even being judged on whether this was good or not.
It was just the idea of doing it in general, the audacity, basically.
The audacity. How dare you? Which is crazy because like American Christianity is full of capitalists.
I mean, that's sometimes part of the problem that I think a lot of people see with religion.
But like, even with like, think about your average like Christian person. They're all for like capitalism and things like that. So like, why do they turn around and get pissed when someone is like generating and building a business?
Yeah, I just think they don't want to. They want to see their pastor, which is not the funny thing because there's not even their pastor.
Yeah.
They, I think, assume that a pastor should devote. They expect the pastor to be perfect and more perfect than them. So if they are trying to hard work, do all this kind of stuff, and focus on money, they feel like no, you're supposed to be the spiritual one. You're not supposed to be
Mm-hmm.
of the world, I guess.
But it's not even of the world. Like it's just clothes.
But that's the thing is, I guess some people would say money's of the world, right? If we're going back to the money thing in general.
Sure, but again, like I see it more of like he's creating jobs in a in a hard time.
And that is one thing that people don't look at in general because it doesn't, fit their narrative or whatever.
And it's like sustainable, like you said, like it's repurposed like material, like vintage material, and like it's made in the U.S., which like doesn't really happen. So it's like, what are you?
What more do you want in a capitalistic way? Legitimately, when the biggest part of capitalism is exploitation, the fact that like that's the kind of way it runs, that's the gear that's gonna keep it moving, and he's trying to reduce the amount of that. And the problem with that is the price goes up. That's the thing is in order to keep prices low, you got to exploit everything else.
Exactly.
But some people might feel whatever about that price.
Yeah.
And then that's cool. That's supply and demand. If people buy it, if people don't buy it, it just depends on if people want it or not and how bad they do. But for the fact that the people who aren't going to and aren't even going to be consumers from the beginning, like they were never going to be, critique it just because they want to have an opinion. It's just like, and then that's the voices you hear, that's the voices you see, but you could look at the sales and be like, but it's selling out. Like, I have no idea what's going on. If you were not to hear that and you were to just see it, you would consider it a success. But because you have to hear all these voices around you who would have never been fans to begin with say stuff like that, now it seems like a problem.
Exactly.
And that's the outrageous thing too.
Because I even think about like churches I've been to where like the pastor like has a side job because maybe like the church doesn't have enough revenue to actually pay the pastor, so he has to have a side gig.
Yeah, and I mean, it is crazy when that is the case, when you're doing so much all the time and you can never get anything in return. It seems like where you're struggling the second that in a sense you could say God blesses you, it's a bad blessing.
Yeah. It like doesn't make sense. Like, what do you want then?
Like they want, I think they have Christianity confused with like Buddhism or something.
I don't know, man. I think people, yeah.
Like they think that people,
but not with themselves though. No, with their leaders. They have to be the ones that are like ground zero. But you can do whatever you want.
Exactly, and you'll still go to church and feel like holy because you're there at that building at that time. But like the rest of your life, may not be lived like that.
You're even tired though.
And all of a sudden, like your pastor has to. That's why I really think in general, and that's the biggest problem with cancel culture too, is that there's no road to redemption. And I think in a lot of ways. And I mean, the Bible talks about nothing but forgiveness.
Yeah, that's so anti-Christianity, where it's like, the whole story of the Bible. What the Bible is God trying to redeem humanity and His process of doing so, and like all the chances He gives to humanity. Like that's all it is, and people like get it twisted and like think that they are holier than thou when they choose this path of Christianity, and start to cast judgment on the world instead of showing like the grace and mercy that God gave us. And it's just, I don't know, man. It's a sad thing, but needless to say, I think the line is sick. I enjoy I can take it for what it is. The reach to try to do something different. It's like I said, it's not just another box logo Supreme ripoff. I
think it's like if Christianity and God, I guess in general, or Jesus, better yet said, was like a rapper. It's like you guys have the worst fans. Like when the fan base is terrible, like the whole artist gets fucked up because their fans are so like.
Yeah.
Like Nicki Minaj's fans are vicious and like insane, and they'll attack you on the internet so much so that like you look at Nicki to be like, yo, what the fuck? Like, control your fans. Like, what's going on? Because a lot of people say that your fans are kind of a reflection of you in a sense. And I think that's what it is. Like, Christianity has terrible fans.
It really does. Like I can't disagree with you.
Like, I guess the quote always gets circulated around by, if I'm saying this right, where Gandhi says, like, I love your God, but I hate your Christians.
And, like, I think really what it is like, again, unfortunately, the loudest people are the most, like...
The most heard, basically.
The most heard, yeah.
And so they all have their opinions.
Yeah, which goes back to the like anti-vax thing we were talking about earlier. It's like because they're saying something outlandish or something hateful, it gets the most attention. So maybe it's our fault. Maybe we should start focusing.
Everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, prime example is Kanye.
Yeah.
The reason Kanye keeps on doing all the crazy shit that he does is because every time he says something crazy, we all talk about it.
And he's mentally ill.
Yeah, but literally, it's that thing like, if he says something, even though everyone's saying something negative about it, everyone's talking about it and it's trending and it's boosting his ego regardless.
Right.
And so he's going to keep on saying outlandish shit if people keep on being like, damn, what the fuck did Kanye say today?
I know, and I'm guilty of that one. Like, I
mean, me too. It's hard.
If I'm going to keep it a buck, it's hard.
I mean, the same thing with social media where we go back to circling around. It's designed to make you get upset. When you get upset, you want to say something. Mm-hmm. It's easier for us to say, hey, whenever I'm upset, I should just not say something and walk away. But in your brain, when you're in that situation, you're really going to stop. And
when there's no like face-to-face repercussions, like this person doesn't have the capacity to punch me in the face.
And you're like, let me give this person a piece of my mind. Mm-hmm. But I think we had a good episode. I really think that we had a lot of good moments and good talks. Yeah. But we're going to be back.
Zen wears USPA with black Air Force One.
Don't put me out there like that. I'm going to start catching you slipping one day and start posting. I'm going to start posting bad pictures to the socials.
Chill.
Don't let me find old pictures, dog. I'll find old pictures.
All right. He doesn't wear USPA. I was just kidding.
And there's no black Air Force in my closet. We can pull them. We can pull closet pics.
We could take the camera into the closet. There's no black Air Force Ones. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. I know you probably have really bad pictures of me from I don't want to play this game anymore.
Yeah, the worst part is my mom might pull some out accidentally. Like, she's the queen of pulling out pictures. Yeah. So I love it. Trust me, if there's some in there, they'll get pulled out. Yeah, don't test me. I'll make a text message. No, I'll send a text message out.
I don't want to play.
And give me 20 minutes and I'll have some pictures.
I do not want to play.
Pull you up in the Beverly Hills Polo Club. Oh, I think that's a grade below, like...
No, I think Beverly Hills Polo is higher than USPA.
Really?
No,
because I've never seen...
No, it's not.
Here's the thing. I was in Times Square, and there was an USPA store. I ain't seen no...
True.
I didn't see no Beverly Hills Polo Club store.
And the only place I see Beverly Hills Polo is like the thrift store.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, or Marshalls and Ross, but like... Yeah. So, once again, this is the Zen Podcast, Untitled, Undocumented series. I'm Zen.
And I'm Pablo.
We're going to catch you later. Out.